Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be featuring a couple, Bismwa and Badt Gwom, from my diaspora community. They'll be the first ones to feature in my love, relationship and marriage series. It's going to be a sit back and watch video, so go grab a cup of tea or whatever you drink, sit back and enjoy this beautiful couple share their experiences in marriage with you. Introduce yourselves to the audience. As a couple.
Who will start, me or him?
Yay, ladies first.
I'll put you on the spot now. My name is Bismwa and Badt, and this is my husband. What's your name?
Badt Gwom.
How long have we been married?
Do some maths. 2004. We're getting to 16 years now.
Allah, so okay.
What?
17.
Oh, we're getting to 17. Yeah, 2004. 2000. Next year will be 17, so we're 16 now.
You already know the math. It's okay.
I never liked maths.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been married 17 years.
How did you meet? Did you have a love marriage or an arranged marriage?
No, it was a love marriage.
So how did you meet?
How did we meet, Bath?
Who chased who?
He chased me.
I chased her.
Wow.
He saw me first, I think.
No, yeah. She and my sister went to the same school, and so she came to our house to see my sister. And I just drove into the house, parked, heard some noise at the back of the house, peeped, looked, and lo and behold, I saw her. I told my sister,
that's my
girl
wife.
must come to your birthday. And that was it. We had to quickly arrange a birthday, my sister's birthday, a party, so that she would come and I'll have the opportunity
to meet me. That was his arrangement, and I didn't know about that.
Okay.
Faith and I were not very close. His sister and I were not we were in the same class, but we were not really very close. So we were never really close, but we bantered and joked like that. And so she invited me to her birthday party, and I went.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's where he met you.
Yeah, that's what. So he came up to me to dance with me,
All
but that was the end of it too. He wouldn't let me dance with anybody. He wouldn't let me talk to anybody.
It was part of the
till the end.
Mr.
Of the
Possessive.
I saw. I had a vision where it was gonna lead, and I was on a mission.
So yeah, that was how we met.
That was 19. Was it 95 or 90? Yeah.
Wow.
Between 93 and 95.
That's a long time ago.
That was a long time.
Very long time.
Wow.
What's one thing that you wish you knew before getting into marriage?
So I went into marriage with my eyes wide open. I knew what I was going in for. But the one thing that I think I should have known more about would be just being more tolerant. And accepting the other person the way they are, not trying to change them. I wish I knew that I had to do it that way.
Okay, so that was yours.
Yeah.
Being more tolerant.
I think I basically walked into marriage.
You knew nothing.
I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into.
You just had butterflies in your stomach and decided it's time to get married.
If there's one thing I wish I knew, it would be the fact that you actually lose your freedom. To a certain extent, your individuality. Yes.
Yeah.
You kind of lose it. But that part I didn't know, and I tried to hold on because it was very important to me. And sometimes it brings a lot of friction, but that's the part that probably, with hindsight, I would have taken more time to prepare and envisage what it means and just sleepwalking through it and then finding out that look, that's gone, that's changed now. Things have changed.
But talking about freedom, do you wish that you spent more time being single and enjoying that freedom?
I wouldn't see it that way, but it's more like I've always been somebody that doesn't want to lose my identity and just being myself. But then all of a sudden you find out that you're married now, there are responsibilities, there are certain things that won't go. And certain things you would have loved to do, but you can't do.
For instance, you can't play computer games.
You can't play computer
24/7.
games all day long. So that part is the part that...
Yeah. I think Patrick could tell you about that, his band.
that's the part, and actually realizing that your life is kind of like intermingled like a rope.
Oh yeah.
It's no longer just you. Everything you do affects another person. That's the part. That's the shock of marriage actually. That for every action you're taking, there is
you have to think about the other person.
Yes. So
all the
now
time.
you have to consider loads of factors when you're doing something. So that's the part that
Yeah. I think looking back now, hearing you say that makes me realize just how much that meant to him. Because I remember him warning me saying, "Oh, don't let anybody call you madam." If that was after that was after we got married.
He didn't want you to lose yourself as a girl.
Don't let them call you madam. Don't let them call you mama so and so, because you will just forget who Bismwa is.
Say you are Bismwa, they should call you Bismwa.
He said just hold on to your dreams, hold on to your aspirations. Don't forget about what the things that you want for your life
as yourself.
Exactly. I remember him warning. He said that to me. He said the fact that I'm marrying him doesn't mean I have ceased to exist as myself. So I should remember to hold on to that. And I
think because I've watched a lot of women, especially, lose their identity when they get married.
That is so true.
You find a very hard-working lady, young lady, having dreams, having vision, and the moment she gets married, it's like she just gets locked up. And that sometimes leads to people going out with other women and stuff like that, other younger women, because that individual, it leads to infidelity definitely, because the individual you were courting all of a sudden disappears after marriage, and that person is no longer there. Everything is so formal. I remember even telling you, look, I don't want that concept of you serving food and with a tray and stuff like that, genuflating and stuff like that. I would rather walk to the pot and actually get my food if it would make me feel like I'm still myself.
And it's still the same in our home till today.
That's very good. That's very good. So difference in
fact, on our wedding day, when it came time to feed him the cake, and he feeds me the cake, so I just stood and gave it to him because we had discussed it. And right there I said to him, you know, people are watching me now. If I don't sort of genuflate or go on my knees and feed you the cake, people will look at me differently. And he said, are you marrying them or are you marrying me? He said, if you go down on your knees, you will come up with my knuckles ready on your head.
They actually had to call some people.
So I was laughing. I was laughing before giving him the cake, and people didn't realize why I was laughing, but that was what he was saying. So I just stood and fed it to him. And then the MC now said, oh, someone should come and show me how it's done properly. So they brought an older couple out and had the wife. She went down and fed her husband the cake, and they said, okay, now I should do that with the drink. And he still warned me not to. So I still stood and gave him the drink, and I think it didn't make me very popular with the in-laws.
First impression.
Yep.
She does not want to be conquered.
Yep.
So she doesn't stoop. Okay. Okay, so your next question is, how do you solve your couple fights?
How do we solve it?
I like to talk about it.
I don't.
Typical woman.
I don't.
Yeah.
I solve our fights in my mind. Having a conversation with myself, looking at all the possible logics, and then come to peace with myself, to be honest. Okay. I've realized that blurting out the first thing that comes to your mind would make the whole task of reconciliation difficult, because it will now be a case of, I didn't mean it that way, and stuff like that. And in a moment of anger, there's no limit to what you can say, and words can hurt beyond the actual thing. So what I tend to do is just be quiet and then go through it in my mind. I call it fighting within.
Oh yeah, you fight with yourself inside.
Fight with myself within, and then give myself so many. For instance, if I feel she's been disrespectful to me, Rather than attacking her and telling her you're being disrespectful, I can sit, analyze the whole situation, and then look back on so many instances where, which will give me more than enough reason to disregard the fact that she's been disrespectful
At this point in time,
at this moment in time, and then it resolves it for me, and then just continue.
How do you go through
I don't like holding things in. But I believe that I am someone who over the years I have mastered my thoughts. So whenever I open my mouth to say something, I say what I mean. So I choose my words carefully. And I always say this: if I say anything that hurts you when we're arguing with him, it was meant to hurt.
Oh, you say it because you want to give it to him.
Yes. So that's me. So I hardly do I ever come back and
tell
say
I'm the Christian in the family.
I hardly come back and say I didn't mean what I said. Do I?
Yeah.
No.
Never. I hardly do. Because when I say it, I actually mean it. But I'm never mean with my words. It's probably how I say it, or the accusations that I bring out, or the perception that I tell you you're giving me, maybe what will hurt him. But when I say what I say, I usually mean what I say. And I always prefer to talk about it.
I think one piece of advice that worked for us was one that
yes,
she said, when you're fighting, you fight as if you're fighting your own.
Yes, that was how she put it. She said,
remember,
you will argue, you will fight.
But fight as if you're fighting your own person, not like an enemy, an outsider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like siblings will fight.
Yeah.
But you know there is definitely that reconciliation. It will be different from when you're fighting someone outside. So more like you fight your own. It's
person.
like your own person.
Yeah. For instance, if you were fighting a stranger, there will be no restraint.
Yeah, you can release
either
all
your
your
actions
venoms
or whatever. But you should remember that when you fight your husband or when you argue, you're members of the same team.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't fight dirty.
It's for the betterment of your relationship.
Yes,
and the aim should be to a conflict resolution rather than to part ways.
Yeah, which is what happens with the enemy or your...
Exactly. You won't care if you don't see them again.
You really don't want them anymore. So you want to kick them out of your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that has helped us is when we argue and when we're talking, there is only one thing in mind.
Yeah.
Reconciliation.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because we understand the havoc disunity argument brings to the families. So it is always with one aim, to reconcile and
so
move
forward.
Yeah. So that's also helpful.
It's good. Good.
Interesting.
I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
This one is for people who are watching, who would like to know about marriage. What's the thing you find most challenging about marriage?
I think I would say that what I have found most challenging about being married is just how selfish men can be.
Okay. Well, men are selfish. That's a
Selfish, self-centered,
and impatient,
self-focused. You know, and I'm not saying this because I think that they do it deliberately. Half of the time they
can't help it. Yeah,
that's how
that's
they
just
are.
their nature.
Yeah, and being a woman and a mother, where you have that mothering instinct with everybody around you, it's very difficult.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Bismwa. Yeah.
It's very difficult. I find that very difficult to overcome because half of the time I think that
make a lot of sacrifices.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
Really. It should be common sense. So that's the most challenging. I still struggle with that.
That's big. Yeah. What about
I
you?
can't believe how much women love buying fish.
Fish!
Sell the fish.
Buying fish when you sell the fish, okay? You have to make a joke out of that one. Okay.
Well, I think
the most challenging thing.
I just want to comment a little bit on hers from the perspective I've seen it. Most of the time, and growing up from African background, you find out that women are brought up with the mindset that you're going to leave your father's house and you're going somewhere and you're going to be like a representative. These are your expectations from very young. Those are the things.
You get it,
But
yeah.
men don't even get nothing.
Yeah, no.
Nobody tells us that very soon
you'll be responsible
you'll
for
be a
somebody.
father, you'll be responsible.
You have to...
But it's more like you're actually going to have to bring somebody to the family, so you don't expect any.
Nothing.
Bring
Not
a
much.
servant.
Not much is expected.
More like
a
a
cook.
servant.
Yeah.
What will I say is the most challenging? I think it's because of where we are, being in the UK. The most challenging part has been having to do the domestic chores.
Oh, okay.
Having been brought up with the mindset of an African man.
I know what you mean. My husband struggles with that as well.
And then I remember having to see myself vacuuming, washing clothes.
Dishes, looking after the
ironing,
kids.
Changing diapers.
washing dishes.
Yeah.
It even got to a point where washing dishes is my favorite stuff now. That was really challenging.
But looking in hindsight now, do you think that that's a bad thing that you've taken on board in your marriage event?
No, not at all. You have to adapt to the community and the society you found yourself in. Even though at the initial stage it was challenging, but I had to be reasonable.
Okay.
Not to have an expectation where my wife will work as much hours as I work and then expect her to come and do all this stuff while I'm probably sat at home. It has to be a shared responsibility. So that is the part that I found really, really challenging.
Okay. Did it change the way I respect you or view you as the head of the household? The fact that you do the chores?
No, I recognize that it was a personal thing.
It's a personal thing for a lot of African men.
It had
Like you
nothing
said.
to do with her as a person. So I didn't sit and think about it as you are being disrespectful.
No, but some men think that if they did that, she would not respect them.
Coming
or
from
they would-
African background,
Yes.
So I was asking that so you would clarify that.
No,
do I
I didn't
respect you
say it
any
that way.
less? Or...
No, it didn't change anything.
Okay.
It didn't change anything, but it's just that it's like a personal war in quote that you have to fight and overcome. If you fail, then there will always be problems in the home. But if you succeed and realize that you have to you try to insist on having an African home in a European society.
Yeah.
That's the part that I found.
It's hard because we are raised like roles are clearly defined. In back home, your dad is the one who is the breadwinner. He brings the food, brings the money for the food, and roles are. But when you get here, you're working, your wife is working, and everybody. So it then changes, and that is quite frustrating for the men because your expectation is that your father had this. So why is it you are now being told to take the bean out and do this and that?
Yes.
But it's nice. But my question to you now is, if you lived in Nigeria or back home now again, would you be willing to do the things domesticate? Yeah.
I'll do exactly what I'm doing. I love it actually.
Okay.
Why?
Although
within Nigerian society,
the society might frown at it, but one thing I know I wouldn't change is the things I did for my kids.
Yeah, of course, that's
like
bonding.
I was backing them up.
Yeah, he was carrying them on his back with the wrapper and everything.
And in fact, I actually carried. Was it Simida? Yeah.
I wish you
my
had
back
a photo
at
of that.
Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heathrow
Wow.
Airport.
That all
When
the
she
time.
left for Nigeria,
Wow.
I had the 2 kids with some excess luggage I was taking back.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The little girl was struggling, and we had this the throw that you keep on because it was quite cold at the time. And I just put her on my
your back.
wrapped her behind me. You need to see the looks I was getting.
Oh.
But I had an idea.
Super daddy.
And I agree that Badt would do the same thing if we were in Nigeria. Because I've known him for so long, and he's someone who does not care what other people think about what he does with his life or what he does when he makes a choice to do something. So I agree.
Okay. Very On a final note, how do you keep your romance and intimacy that thing? How do you keep it going?
How do we? She keeps notes. She demands it.
No, No, this is what I believe. If you don't if you think that, oh, now because we're married, everything will be automatic, you gradually grow apart and all of these things die out.
Yeah.
I believe. So I believe everything needs to be worked at. But on the other hand, things that as far as you're somewhere in the house,
it's okay.
He's happy. You know?
That is as best
My
as
wife
the
is
romance
in the
gets.
kitchen or
Honestly,
in
so
the
when
bedroom.
it comes to romance, forget him. When we first
No, but I have
Hold on.
always not been a romantic.
that's
Why
what
are
I'm
you
going to
wearing
say.
it as a crown on your head?
It's like all of a
It's like how
sudden.
men. It's like how men say we are polygamous by nature.
Let
Go
me
on.
take you back.
No, but actually,
When we first started dating, I remember Valentine's Day was coming and I was like, oh, Valentine's Day, first Valentine's with him, he will give me chocolate, flowers, whatever. And Valentine's Day came, nothing. I said, what are you doing? There's no Valentine gifts. He said, what do you mean? If I don't show you I love you 364 days of the year and I show you on one day, what use is that to you? That was the answer I got. You know? And
see,
I
she
thought-
still remembers after all
I
those
remembered,
years.
yeah. So I thought about it and I thought, okay, actually, okay. But see, Badt is the type of person who, rather than be physically affectionate, he shows you his affections in other ways. So he's a doer kind of person.
That's good.
So he would do things for me.
Acts of service.
Yeah, he would prioritize me no matter what.
Have you taught him about the languages of love?
Do I know them?
So
would
maybe
be good.
that's his.
I first heard of that from
maybe
you.
that's his one, because people tend to think that they have to love you the way that they want to be loved. So maybe he thinks that doing stuff for him is how to love him, and that's why he does stuff for you. But he hasn't understood what you are looking for to feel loved.
But to be honest with you, I think I'm a kind of weird person. I don't have any. How would I?
Why
put
are you saying this with pride?
As in, it's like it's like my insulation kind of.
Okay.
It's
No expectation.
no expectation.
You're very laid back.
Laid back about it,
Yeah.
as in.
Yeah, he is.
I am just happy being in the same
Because
house
you're
with them.
comfortable in your own skin with the person.
Yes,
There's
so
trust.
That's
So-
just
So when it comes to intimacy, I am the one who plans and we're spending time together. Switch off that phone. Follow me upstairs.
Wow.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
That's hard
if
work.
you leave it to him, forget it.
and for peace to reign, I obey.
There's always somebody who manages the finances. Who is better at keeping the finances?
I am.
Yeah, there's always one person who is better.
So I keep the money.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I
So-
blow the money.
But you work hard, you both work hard, so that's good. It was nice to have you too. Thank you so
It
much
was
for
really
coming
nice
on.
to
Yeah,
meet
we
you.
really enjoyed ourselves. Yeah.
Thank you.
At least you can go and do what you haven't done for a long time now because you felt some connection this minute. So when you get home,